Raiders Tyrrell. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I don't know how you must feel. This is 8 days before your first ever season in Europe. How you feeling about that?
I'm excited. Just kind of preparing everything mentally with the team and getting myself ready at the same time. It's a lot of emotion into it. Been out of football for a little bit, so it's extremely exciting just to kind of get back on the field and be able to put my pads on somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you've just started the first couple weeks of the season in preseason. How's your body feeling up now? You're a little bit warmed up because, like you said, you haven't played in a minute, but now you're getting warmed up for a definitely a different experience than what I think you might have imagined in your early football career. Just in the middle of the Alps playing football, that must be a wild feeling.
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. Body's feeling good. They're taking care of us over here very well. Just kind of doing the prep for my body before practices. Taking care of it afterwards and stuff. And we've got a good program when it comes to just getting us all ready mentally, physically, and just all in a whole as a team.
Yeah, we'll I'm going to ask you a little bit about week one and everything, but and the film study. But Europe for you is completely new. How much did you know about the ELF or European American football before you've joined the Raiders?
Honestly, not much. I've seen a little bit of it. I know I have a friend that came to play over here while I was still in the pool, kind of waiting to get picked up, whether it was a different league in the United States, but wasn't too much. I know that he gave me a good clue about kind of everything going on. He said it was great ball. Everybody over here loves football. They treat it very high on their pedestal when it comes to just what they do, and I love it so far. Everything's kind of exceeded my own expectations, and I'm very happy.
I must have some kind of like maybe a little bit of anxiety about coming to the middle of Austria about that now.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say so. I had no idea what to expect. I know that they said, the food was really good over here. The landscape, there's a lot of culture in the buildings and different spots. So I've always been kind of a nature guy. So I think that Austria was such a perfect, selection for me. And I went to the University of Colorado, so I got to experience some mountains here and there. And from that point on, I think that was one of the most amazing things that kind of, caught my eye going on my visits throughout college. And it was what kind of sold me. So being here is just kind of full circle, and like I said, couldn't pick a better spot.
I'm gonna be a little bit forward. Is it the Rockies in Colorado? I'm unfamiliar with the name of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, it's the
You,
Rockies.
you got to pick one. You got the Rockies. You got the Alps. You got
Ooh,
to pick one of them. Which one's the most aesthetically pleasing?
I would say the Alps. I would say the
Mm.
Alps. The Rockies are beautiful. We got the Flatiron Mountains right outside of Colorado where we played and stuff. So, but out here, it's incredible. It's something I haven't seen before. The landscape, we've got little villages sitting on top of some of those mountains, and there's a cable car that'll bring you all the way up there. So that's still something on my to-do list that I'll get going to. But it's incredible here, and Europe's new for me, so it could be the European thing, but I would choose the Alps for sure.
Oh, there we go. And then Cole Coleman as well. We talked about him just a little bit from the pre-show. I didn't want to go too much into it. You guys played in Indianapolis together when you were in the preseason roster, and then you said you also played you had the pro day together as well. So you two both coming into Europe at the same time. That must be either is that a competitive rivalry? Is that like a friendship rivalry?
We've got the friendship rivalry, as our base, of course, but it's going to be competition when we line up on the field. He actually went to a school called Elon, and when I was at Campbell University my last season, we played against him as well in college. So I was able to play against Cole. He's on the defensive side of the ball. We both are. So, we weren't able to kind of go against each other, but didn't really know who he was. I just know that he was showing flashes of being a great player and stuff. And I was kind of like, who's that? So yeah, just things kind of went full circle. We had our pro day at North Carolina State. I believe he ran like a 4.3 or something, and
Yeah.
that also I was like, wow. But then yeah, we ended up both in Indianapolis, and our relationship kind of grew even closer from that point on. And he's a great dude. We got a great relationship. We talk, and what I said earlier, he was that guy that actually kind of got to let me know a little bit about the ELF and what to expect and how it was and stuff. So um, Cole Coleman's a great dude. It's my good friend.
And you playing week one. Well, you don't play him, but you play his team week one. That's kind of crazy coincidence. That's a full
Yeah.
circle moment for you as well. How much tape you watching on Munich? Because there's a bit of a rivalry with those two teams going into last year. I'm not sure how much you know about the previous year, but they were the team that kicked them out of playoff contention. So there must be a lot riding off of that.
Yeah, for sure. A lot riding off of that. When it comes to film, film junkie. So I'm always watching film. I've been watching film, weeks ago. Just when it comes to just kind of understanding the game, learning my playbook a little bit more, and kind of how it translates onto the field and what we're running. But yeah, it's kind of full circle playing him first game of the season. The rival is with them kind of kicking us out of the playoffs, we've got a chip on our shoulder, no doubt. We're hungry. We're gonna come in this game prepared, ready to go at it, and come home with the win, of course. But just taking everything one week at a time. But yeah, it's been a it's been talked about a lot, I would say, over here, and the guys are very passionate about it. They care about it, so we're gonna come ready to go.
All right, I got a couple questions coming in from the chat. First and foremost, from a good friend of the ELF, Jamal. Aaron looks like he has the best facial cleanse routine in the league. So you're gonna have to extend a little bit on your facial regime when it comes to your morning moisturizers and whatnot, because Jamal obviously needs some tips.
Yeah, man. I would just say be big on your vitamins. I take my vitamins, my fish oils and all those kind of things. I don't kind of skip out on those, and I try to eat a healthy diet. But when it comes to just the morning routine and stuff, I shave my face here and there. I kind of have a little prep for it, and I've got certain moisturizers I like to use, but nothing too
Gatekeeping them.
expensive. I would say just big on the vitamins. I would say the vitamins are kind of that secret code that a lot of people kind of miss out on that when it comes to your collagen and all those little small things to kind of help you boost your morale when it comes to your skin and all that kind of stuff.
There you go, Jamal. There you go. And then my
Yeah.
next one is what brought you to the ELF website? Recruiters, the team reach out to you. What was the deal with that one?
So actually, my high school coach, I was kind of searching for some opportunities to get back on the field, and great guy. He coaches over there in Poland right now, and he kind of, was kind of helped me with the recruiting process, and he pointed me towards, the Raiders. Coach Herm, that's one of his close friends, and just being able to explore that option and just kind of studying the way Herm coaches and the team out here and the landscape of everything. Everything lined up perfectly. It was a great coach. He's got an extensive history when it comes to just coaching in the NFL and coaching some great players and seeing a lot of guys. And outside of Herm, we've got a lot of other coaches that have great history and who've coached some good guys and seen some great ball. So just being able to be around them, absorb what they're teaching, and just kind of learn more from them and be able to help elevate my own game and just bring kind of an asset to this team.
Yeah, phenomenal. And then another one from Jamal is where do you like to see the game? Nickel, safety, corner. What fits you best? Because I've got you as a safety, but
Yeah,
granted, my tape is limited at the moment because how NFL teams aren't going to hand over their tape to me, so I gotta
yeah.
try and find some old stuff from Campbell from Colorado. But what fits you best?
I could play anywhere, and I know that a lot of players like to just say that, but I would say the spot that I like to, kind of get my feet dirty in a lot is that nickel position, being able to affect the game in multiple different ways, whether it's blitzing, whether it's man coverage, zone, being able to help in the run game a lot. But at the same time, I've run some corner, and corner is one of the positions that I've played a lot as well. But safety is something that it's come natural. It's something that I latched onto and something that some coaches saw a lot of potential in. So that's kind of what I toned in on. Kind of zoomed in on that when it comes to just college and but it's really wherever you kind of want to kind of plug me in. I'm able to kind of perform there, and but I'll say that nickelback position. I like that one a lot.
I like that. You got a 37-inch vertical too, so that would be kind of a good place to get some nice picks on some short routes. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then who are the Raiders from Alex Malchow has said, who are the Raiders has impressed you during practice? I like quite a lot of the Raiders players, but word on the street with some people a little bit confused with the quarterback signing. They thought maybe they could have went for someone more like glamorous, I suppose. But I personally love the scheme fit. How was the offense looking so far? I know you can't give full details, 8 days for the season, but
Yeah.
who's caught your eye?
I would say our quarterback's playing incredible as well. He's getting the ball where he needs to. He's making his reads. Very confident guy from Florida. So I've been down there, trained down there, so we've got a good little bond, and we know some mutual players and stuff. So we're always chatting, we're always hanging out and stuff. But I would say our running back room has impressed me big time. I would say Lil Tonko. He's 19, just turned 20 years old. Incredible ability to catch the ball, run the ball, make his reads and cuts and stuff. So, as well as Bonatti. But I would say our running back room is outstanding. Can't forget about Lucas as well. But it's just kind of a 1, 2, 3 punch. You never know what you're going to get depending on what down it is and what we're running. But offense looks sharp. Everybody's playing on an accord, same accord and stuff. So, very confident in their ability to put up points and just kind of help, with Connor leading our offense and whatnot. We're in good hands for sure.
Has that kind of surprised you, the amount of talent that's in just a small, quite comparatively small village in south of Austria? Is that
Yeah.
kind of been surprising to see how much talent has come out of this area? Because they're very well known for running backs. I'm sure
Yeah.
Ricardo has told you a lot about the running backs that have come out of there. But that must have been quite a surprise.
Yeah, quite a surprise. They call this city pretty small. It's 118,000 or something of the sort. And I grew up in a small city in South Carolina where there was maybe 15,000 people. So to me, I lived in Arizona, so I got to see a good bit of the city, and I've been around traveling and stuff. But for the pool that's here, I'm extremely impressed with our running backs. Not sure what they're feeding them, not sure what where they're starting with them, and all this kind of stuff with the program we've got going on here. Ols is doing an incredible job from the youth program and bringing everybody up. But our running backs, I would say, are incredible. They're very strong too. They lift very proficient. They're very hard workers. They're out here sprinting, doing all kind of things to just kind of elevate their game, and they've got a great bond. So when it comes to the running backs that we have here, and even just kind of looking back a little bit on Sandro and just watching some of his film before, incredibly talented guy. I think he's getting 10 yards a punch every time he's getting the ball, breaking at least 1 to 2 tackles. So the running backs out here for surely impressed me a lot.
Absolutely. Do you have any goals for this season? Like statistical goals, you could say team goals, all-star nominations. Is that something you'd take? You an individual guy? You a championship guy only? What are you thinking on that one?
First and foremost, I'm a team guy. I'm always focused on what we can do as a team. How can we, get together and be able to win each game 1 week at a time to get us to that championship playoff, contender ability. But I've got some personal goals as well. I write down and stuff, and I'll kind of keep those ones to myself. But just when it comes to just the team, I feel like I want to, help everybody else elevate to where we have multiple all stars on offense and defense, and being able to keep that confidence up to where we're going into each new week. Prepared, ready to run hard, play hard, be relentless, and just kind of as a team and as a whole, be successful. And when everybody can be successful, you win games, we're playing well. I think that everybody gets a little bit of share of that success. So things will go up from there.
Yeah, I got one more football question, and then I'll be doing a disservice to Nick if I didn't ask you a film question as well. So my last football one is when you're running through these steps, like take me. I'm a DB guy, that's predominantly. I'm a scout everywhere, but DB is my speciality.
Yeah.
Run me through every single step, every single thought of the back pedal, every single thought when you turn the hips. You're looking at the quarterbacks, you're looking at the slot, you're looking at the receiver, just from your most comfortable position. You go for Nick, we go by safety, whatever you want. But just, I love to get the idea of what you're thinking during every single step.
Yeah. So, if I'm playing that safety position, first and foremost, I'm going to read alignment. I'm going to see what's going on in the backfield. Try to get as many keys as I can get going. When it comes to certain, wide sides of the field or down and distance and things of the sort, I like to kind of, uh, you know, get that down first and kind of, try to get my pre-play, indicators up. And then when it comes to that playing man coverage, it's certain technique. You want to be able to show the same technique. Um, Down and down. Again, you don't want to get lazy. Things of the such. It's just you got your read steps, you got your filler steps, whether you're in man, whether you're in zone. You always want to keep eyes on the receiver, before you look for the quarterback. Don't want to look too early. But just progression. It's just depending on what you're running for a man coverage. Just want to always have that nice read step. Be patient, and just let your guy give an ability. Just let you react and play off of it and go from there. But you always want to keep your eyes low, keep your eyes on the hips and stuff, and just be able to track that part and just KYP. You always want to know your personnel, know who you're working with, know if he's a speedster, if he's kind of more of a option type of route guy or what you're getting. So just being able to study who you're playing, get the pre-snap indicators and all that. It eliminates so much more of the other work that you just let your ability just take over.
Oh man, that last bit has intrigued me a little bit, so I'm gonna extend a little bit on that.
Yeah.
You said about knowing your players. You got week one, you got Malik Stanley, you got Sir Marvin Rouge. Are there any guys you singled out on tape a little bit?
Um, From Munich, yeah, there's some guys definitely. They got some talent over there. Their quarterback's pretty proficient what they're doing. They're a great team. Looks like they prepare well. They got a good old line and things of the sort. Um, but I would say, it's not so much more about the opponent we're playing. It's more about how we can prepare over here as a defense and doing our job and just kind of being on that for sure. But they've got some ability over there. I see some guys on film making some plays and things of the sort. So we're gonna come ready. But I think that they've definitely got some guys that can make some work.
My last one for you, Aaron. Nick isn't here. He would have loved to ask you this question himself, but I didn't give you the opportunity to give it think about it. So Nick would usually ask your top five films. I'm gonna just go for like a top 1 to 3, whatever you feel comfortable with, because Nick will watch this back, and he's a cinematography guy, so he will judge. So if you want to have your top 3 films, top 1 film, now is your time to make that known to Nick Alfieri.
Like movies, is that what you're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for?
yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
Because
I
I
would
got some tips
say
there.
one of my
I got
favorite films,
yeah.
Pursuit of Happiness. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
watched that one before.
yeah, Will Smith,
I
yeah.
would say that's been one of my favorite ever since I've been a kid. Just kind of the persistence of the journey and the story of everything going on and fighting through adversity of adversity of the sword and just kind of making things happen for not just for yourself but for your son or for your daughter or for your kids or family or whoever that is to you. Another film I like a lot, I would say, is Kung Fu Panda. I
Oh,
love
I'm
Kung Fu
so glad
Panda.
you said that. Oh my god, I'm so glad
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said
I,
that.
I love Kung Fu Panda. One of my favorites is Master Oogway. Love the
Yes.
way he carries himself. He's very calm, serene. He's a professional. He's a master at what he does, and I love that one too. And then I would say another one as a kid I remember specifically is Lion King.
Yeah.
That's I would say that's probably number two. Kung Fu Panda probably being number one. But Lion King, just I think everybody likes Lion King when it comes to that, and that's just been one of those that I've always can watch, and I've never get bored of it, never get tired of it. So those would be
Oh,
my top three.
yes. I'm so glad you Tai Lung, number 1
Yeah, yeah,
villain of all time. I'm so
yeah.
happy you said that. Oh my goodness. Because I got some stick last week. I'm not sure if you saw the show. I have not watched Friday Night Lights. I still haven't watched Friday Night Lights. And I got a lot of people on my back for that. So I'm glad that me and you found some common ground. You've rocketed up my my
Yeah, that's my
safety
favorite,
lecture
man.
for that one.
Heck yeah.
There we go. Much appreciated, Aaron. Wish you best for the season. Sure we'll have you again on here at some point, but really appreciate you spending time with us today.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Thank you. There we go, guys. That was Aaron Maddox, starting safety.